All right. We're here with King Darien, the 48th. Yeah, King Darien the 40. I think that's 48 in Roman noodles. Roman noodles. So other creatures you get +1/+1. You can pay 5 mana for like a selfish Gavany Township kind of effect. It's just him, and you get a 1/1. But I'm mostly interested in the bottom part, which is indestructible and hexproof for tokens, and in standard, there are a lot of board wipes, as we know. So we could probably run some ourselves. I'm not doing that right now, but you probably could. Like, again, people really do like split up. And there's that other one that you choose, like, the size of the creatures that die. So there are some options. Split up might actually just come in here. But it seems interesting to sort of circumvent that issue. You could run Heir Apparent. I've already done that, though, and it's very... I mean, you've seen one Heir Apparent deck. You've kind of seen them all. There's like 4 commanders that are good with it, I guess, but it's kind of interesting to do that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to do more traditional token-related things. So, if you're familiar with the 6 mana token O'Hare, I can't remember the name of it. This thing, you probably wonder why it's not in here. It costs 6 mana, and you also need, like, it to resolve and enter play, and then have token things to do after you have played it. And while that might happen sometimes, this isn't historic Brawl, where there are a lot of things that are like already in play that can sort of continue to make tokens, right? It has to come out of hand for the most part. I just don't think token strategies are interested in trying to play this. But if you ever get it to work, cool. It is a land if it dies at the very least, right? It's just not. It's 6 mana, and for 6 mana, it just doesn't get me where I want to be. I don't think, especially with a card like this now, as like a scary 6 mana windmill slam sort of thing to do, where suddenly everything is scary, right? It's basically Craterhoof Behemoth. It might even just be better because it's cheaper. This assumes you have a board state, but it's pretty easy to develop a board state. And that's about it. Just everything token-centric in green-white, with a commander that protects your tokens from at least some things. Oh, there's a manland too, right? This manland is kind of cool. I don't really like manlands, as you all know, but this one has an ability that is pretty scary if you just have 5 tokens and suddenly your opponent's not paying attention. You can just trample over them. So I don't know. You might as well try. And yep, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, send it. Tokens, tokens, tokens. It's like staying in the game. Staying in the game is pretty cool, right? We like doing that against the like most played commanders in the format instead of losing immediately. I haven't had a virtue game. This is probably okay. I think I've played against this. I will play... Which one of these? Let's play this one. I don't see myself as having the mana to use this for at least a few turns. Okay, they manually tap for that. My opponent has had 3 spells in this turn cycle, all of which just kill creatures. Okay. Virtue can come in next turn, assuming there's no counterspell. Would be ideal. Or it just doesn't matter. Again. Opponent missed a land drop. Opponent immediately finds a land. Oh, I should have given the I should have given this indestructible. That was a mistake. Okay, they didn't even swing anyways. Let's name Avatar. Now I am pretty ahead, I think, barring a sweeper. Honestly, even with a sweeper, I'm sort of okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm going to go to combat. That was a... Well, anything castable was good there. I could have played Virtue. Respecting counterspells is kind of hard, but I feel like a lot of my options here are pretty similar, so if this worked out, I guess I have a lot of mana for the next turn. Opponent doesn't attack. Oh my goodness. Yep, play this. I would love a counterspell here. That is a counterspell. Maybe that not that counterspell. Maybe like one of the other ones. Okay, my opponent has had phenomenal answers to everything I have done. I will swing, and probably not with this. Please play Kaito. Please? They're running out of cards. They're running out of cards. Okay, that doesn't... That just puts lethal in play. Yeah, that was a bit of an oopsie there. My opponent absolutely could have seen another turn if they used a removal spell on one of my creatures and went down to 2. If I drew a land, that would not be the case. They would just die. Right? It was not night. Yeah, I didn't have any surprise. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. This is a +1/+1 effect, and I can cast it. Never mind. They're always dead. That wasn't an oops. I was toxic. That was no mistake there. They were always dead. I'm just toxic. All these triple green cards are making me miserable. Triple green, double white. Not even good enough anyways. I think... No. I'd probably keep this on the draw and just concede if I didn't draw a green source. But I'm not going to do that here. I also kind of want to take out Felidar Retreat. It has been useful. It really has. It just... not the past few games. It definitely doesn't feel like one of the better cards in my deck. It, like, demands lands, and that's not really something I'm heavy into doing. Just like one land a turn. I will actually get to enough tokens to make them all fly with this card. So do I play Takashi's Welcome first? Oh, of course we're up against a flying commander, or reach commander. Oh, of course. Damage. Damage. The cow doesn't have reach. I can kill the commander, which is, I guess, a thing. Opponent's doing nothing but smooth brain ramping. Literally. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. We actually had an answer to the reaching blocker too with this, which would have been huge. In this turn, because I don't think they had a counter spell, I can just run this out and yeah, that's a wrap. What the heck is this? 5 or greater or X? Whoa. My opponent is deep in it with that one. That's pretty cool. Can I keep a hand like this? Caretaker's Talent's good. Okay. No 1 or 2 though. Well, I mean, there's only 1/1. So I really should be saying no 2. There's only 1 minute. One 1-minute card in here. Yikes. Would have liked to have drawn at least a single 2, but it's fine. It's as fine as it is, and no more or less fine than that. Player commander? Alright. I'll take it. Alright, card engine. Do card things. Spelunking. So far, not exactly what I expected out of this opponent. Apparently my opponent did not get what they wanted. Which did they not play a land? I don't think they did. Tragic. I don't draw a card if I do it this turn, but I just want to spend my mana. I'll have more opportunities to draw. Actually, I can just simply make these 2 6/6s right now. Is that a good idea? I mean, it's pretty scary. I don't know if it's better than, like, Elish Norn or something. It doesn't feel like it is. Okay. Does that change anything? I think I will be playing... Yeah, we'll just play this. That's fine. Unless I draw... I don't even know what. Okay, that's not... it. So they only have double green. I'm not going to respect anything, like a random combat trick on the 1/1. They're just going to, yeah, just crack that. So it's another blue-green deck that does literally nothing except cast green spells to ramp. And now they need, like, River's Rebuke to come back. Unless there's something bombastic here. I don't know what that looks like. That certainly is not it. That is also not it. Are they dead? 10... I think they're dead to Planar Disruption here. I think. We'll see. They can have a counter spell, but I have a protection spell taken care of. The old 1/1 Hydra. Love it. Alright, let's play this here. Hold on, I think my commander's just lethal. Okay, that's a really good one. Okay, it was not lethal. Math is for blockers, alright. Not too big of a deal, but again, we're down to basically River's Rebuke. Becomes plotted? So they can't cast what they find here? It's kind of a weird one. Oh, they can't cast one of them, right? Gotcha. I mean, I think it's literally River's Rebuke or you lose. I don't think there's another blue-green card that does anything in standard. Okay, that's the other River's Rebuke that just bounces stuff. So that also works. But it didn't work here. Nope. Opponent, I can yeah, I can just cast a pump spell or one of my aura anthems and my opponent's just dead. Yeah. So these ramp decks that literally do nothing except ignore you and play ramp cards are kind of struggling against me, right? And again, it's really just River's Rebuke or bust because the other mass bounce spell doesn't even bounce tokens. And, well, I'm kind of a token deck, so it's a little hard to get away with that, but... Or something about Cryptic Command, I remember. I can't remember the exact thing, but... I will get rid of this thing. Oh, look at this. Perfect, efficient, hyper everything curve. Oh, look, a card I would have probably won the game on the spot if I played it turn 1. Oh, look, I lost my only thing that makes a token. Wow. Oh, I didn't draw anything. Cool. Right, this doesn't make a token. Okay, so just play these two. I can level this up and copy the treasure, the map token. Oh, jeez. I mean, I might as well, right? It doesn't have to be a creature token. Nope. I'm literally hiding on this talent here. Hiding behind this caretaker's talent. I will play this. There's an argument to... I'm actually going to play the Manland. A Manland against this deck specifically is good. In case they, I lose the last card in my hand. Right? I don't think cracking a map token does anything. Okay. Guess I'm not allowed to play the game. That's actually... I will play this first, yeah. Alright, a land here would be nice. Wow. I can't believe that my opponent... It's actually kind of weird that my opponent gave up. Like, you can block... excuse me, you can block with this, right? Did I get to see the top card? No. It looks like it gave this a 1/1 counter, but I can't see the top card. That's a little weird. But I guess that means I was going to lose this to the Liliana Plus. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't see myself ever conceding in this spot. I feel like my opponent is fine. I have an annoying man land, and this is a little slow. But if they can't answer this, and I do find tokens, like I said, the entire game was backed on this Caretaker's talent, letting me actually play cards still, beyond my opening hand. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm so burnt out of these, like, mono-black removal decks, and the depression is real, but I got there this time. Ugh, I'm, like, complaining every time I see mono black now. I'm at that stage. I'm just at the complain when you play against Liliana stage. I've probably been at that stage for like 2 weeks now. That's actually a pretty good card. Okay. No removal, please? For once? That'd be pretty cool. Okay. Sweet, no removal. Felidar Retreat, huh? Or do I just upgrade this? Let's see. I think I'm going to play this. Everything is weird right now. I'm gonna play this. Okay, there's no reason to do that. Let's just give this ward 1. No reason to attack. And once I get to 6 mana, this just gets lifelink and probably offsets. Like, it sort of stops my opponent dead in their tracks if I get to that point. Next turn I can not really do much exciting with this. I can exile 2 things? Yeah, okay. I mean, these 2 things are a problem. I suppose if that's what I really wanted to do next turn, I probably should have played this instead of the Growing Rites, but, well, now we're here. Okay. They actually do just swing with their commander. Does that change anything for me? What if I... Let's see. What if I choose a bunch of 1/1s and flip this? What if I just did this? Still no attack. Flip that. And now next turn I just flip Lucranos and I don't see lethal. So. I'm streaming at 1440p. I'm Not sure if I've ever changed those settings in my life, so I really couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, of course. There it is. Why not? Now what? If you would... I don't like most of the things I'm able to do this turn. Okay, let's play this and just simply hide. Okay, I'm not really concerned about that. Although Healer's Hawk is a literal clock that just sits there and hits me. Maybe I actually have to kill Healer's Hawk, which is kind of depressing. Okay, they didn't swing with it. Little surprised about that, not gonna lie. Little surprised. Okay, let's do this. Oh wait, undo, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Do this. This. Okay. This is a lot of damage. Oh man, this is a lot. Well, that came out of nowhere. I think my stream caps at... I thought it was 720. I don't know if my opponent did the math or just decided to not block. But that's a little insane. I feel like blocking the 12-12 would at the very least be useful. Opponent said no. So that's 10. No, wait, that's 9. Oh, I'm dead here? No way. There's nothing I can do? There's really nothing I can do? Wow. Okay. So, what did I do wrong? What could I have done different? I was supposed to leave up Get Lost with the Twitching Doll. There was no point to play the +1/+1 token thing. I should have just backed up, done math here. Yeah, I should have done the math. Okay. Should have just sat there and counted it all out. But it's kind of hard to think that my opponent's going to block or not. It's very enticing to cast this, but it was just wrong. I should have just held back. Like, I knew of the boots giving this haste and just decided to not respect it, so... Okay. That's my bad. Okay. So, this is kind of bad. I think I lost the first 5 or 6 games I played in a row, and it was kind of miserable, and that's obviously a pretty demoralizing start. But I ended up winning some. I won 6 games in the long haul of, you know, all things considered, but 6 games across 2 hours is pretty bad. It's pretty bad compared to the other things I've played in Standard Brawl. Some of those wins actually were my opponent just conceding, right? Someone like roped out turn 0. Someone conceded in a spot where I think I probably would have lost the long haul, or it was still 50-50. And then someone conceded to Llanowar Elves turn 1. It's the first time it happened in Standard to me, someone conceding to it, at least that I can remember. And so yeah, I mean, that won me a game. Llanowar Elves is stronger than any other card in my deck, arguably most of the cards combined, but it did give us a turn 1 win. But for the token mainline strategy of what I was trying to do, protecting my tokens from sweepers was viable and good. The most crucial point at which it would have mattered more than ever, my opponent top decked Sunfall and exiled my board. It was the only card they could have had, and an empty hand, and they top decked it, and then they won because they played that in their like creature go wide deck. They had a Sunfall and a Day of Judgment. I survived the Day of Judgment, and then the Sunfall off the top was made me lose. So if you expect Sunfall all day, I suppose the idea of protecting your tokens is out the window. There's also the issue of this card doesn't do that much as your turn 3 play. In fact, I never really want to play it on turn 3. I have a lot of very solid options in the 2 and 3 slot. I was not really impressed with anything beyond the 3 slot. Warren Warleader does not, to me, feel like a mythic. It feels like a Hero of the Blade hold, but just worse. I know you can Offspring it, but that's 6 mana, and the Offspring, it's only a 1/1, right? Yeah. It's not even like another 4/4. It's just another 1/1. And it's cool to build up this kind of thing, but it to me, this card is just not good, right? If you don't own it because it's a mythic, it feels like a mythic just because of draft, right? If you're like sealed Bloomburrow, then it does, but outside of that, it's just not. I really wasn't feeling that card at all. Elishnorn never got close at all to flipping. At least if it ever did, you could make the argument sacrificing my board is never the right idea, or never felt like I was in a position where it'd be the right idea to do that. I know you get all these like incubate tokens and stuff, and they get scary, but sometimes you don't want to sack what you currently have. And that kind of makes this a bit questionable. It's still probably, a good card. How do you not run this in a green-white token deck, right? I mean, I don't know. The gallery never worked. The Dollmaker shop certainly did, though, making random 1/1s that just draw off of all your, like, cares about tokens entering cards like Takasha's Welcome and Caretaker's Talent. That was really good. Overlord is Overlord. Not much to say about that one. I struggled to have a truly wide board at any one point, and that makes the 5-mana Virtue part a little bit meh, and everything else, that sort of Anthem-y style, give everything +1/+1's kind of like when you only have like 3 creatures at most at any one point, right? Sometimes I had more, but for the most part it was just kind of hard to do that. I was losing to commanders that are slow and extremely bad at interacting with me, and those are the kinds of ones that you shouldn't be losing to, especially if you're a creature heavy, beat your opponent in the face deck. I did beat decks that ignored me and cast like 15 Rampant Growths or something, but like the Loot commander, which I think I made a video, I don't know, maybe I didn't make a whole video of it, but Loot, to me, the mono green Loot, I thought was exciting, ends up being really bad because of the entire meta that you expect to play against. But when you play against what I usually play, Loot suddenly looks really good because I'm not interacting with them, and what they're doing is just going to outpace me. So I'm just on the back foot in a matchup that is extremely weak to the highly played commanders, right? Like 70% of your games, maybe even more than that. Yeah, definitely more than that, are, the meta expected commanders with meta expected cards to a degree. There's no like ranked ladder or anything, but it's standard. The card size is smaller, the deck size is smaller, so what you expect every game is just more consistent. And that makes you more consistent, but it makes the meta decks even more consistent. They might outpace you consistency-wise. So there's always this, like, an answer in your opponent's hand, right? You should always expect them to have something to interact with you. And if they're not interacting with you at all, then assume that your opponent is probably going to outpace you if they're not playing, like, removal spells or something. They could just be like, oh, make all these tokens, I don't care, Sometimes I could get through with like Toby making them all fly out of nowhere, and then my opponent's not expecting that. Or if I have 6 mana and a bunch of 1/1s that they don't care about, suddenly they're just dead, right? If I just send this. But outside of certain things like that, there was actually a moment where I played Season of the Burrow and it got countered because I targeted something and wanted to make a bunch of 1/1s, but they like protected the target and it still doesn't let you make the 1/1s. It's kind of horrendously miserable that that happened, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes I could have maybe exiled two different things. I had the option to exile two different permanents and to make a bunch of 1/1s, but Season of the Burrow is weird. I would genuinely play the flashback version of this card from, I think it's Innistrad, Increasing Devotion. I have no business remembering that name. Whoa. I think it's called Increasing Devotion. It's like 5 mana, make 5/1/1s, and then flashback for 9, make like 10 or 15 1/1s or something like that. I mean, it gets crazy, but I would prefer that card over this. I was not sold on the rest, excuse me, the rest of what this card was doing. I think Split Up did need to be in here, and because of that, probably the other sweeper as well, the one that you choose the power of, like, oh, just keep the power number at like 3, and then hopefully nothing of yours is at 3 or higher, and blow up your opponent's board and keep all your 1/1 tokens and maybe a little bit of something else. These most would assuredly die. This and the other one here, this, yeah, but I just, some matchups where my opponent had a board state that stopped me, but wasn't a serious investment from the opponent to stop me, so they could just continue doing something else while I'm staring at this thing I can't deal with. It's just pretty miserable. So I don't think this is viable at all. And because of that, you might want to just try Heir Apparent. And there's probably a healthy middle ground somewhere in here where maybe only half of my deck, like 15, no, 15 is a little steep. Let's say 10 Heir Apparents or something. If you wanted to go that route, just abandon everything that costs more than 4 and just run Heir Apparents in those spots. I can see that as kind of working. It's not the worst thing to do. You could maybe put Delny back in, although there's a lot of times where Delny would no longer work because the everything entering with more power nullifies stuff like Delny and that weird Enduring Innocence, because it doesn't enter with 2, it enters with 3. That actually got in the way a couple times, I will say. So, but yeah, green-white tokens is something I like to play. It is fun. It just it's hard to get there. There are better mid-rangey things to do to kill people and win games, and you are just extremely vulnerable to the meta, right? That's it. That's what it is. There's no avoiding the meta, right? I don't usually say that word, but that's just what the issue is in Standard. If you want to play something like this, is the meta doesn't really have room for it. There's so many things, and I wouldn't even say the meta in terms of like super competitive mid-maxy deck strategies that you might see. It's just people playing the cards that are in Standard, right? You don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to copy paste some list online that has a 90% win rate or something. It's like, well, you're probably just, if you build your own deck, are going to run into like 5 game-ending cards in really any of the colors against a strategy like this, and you're not going to really think to run them because of a strategy like this. They're just universally good. And when you're a singleton format, every single white deck is going to have a sweeper, probably, even the ones that have 45 creatures apparently, which I'm still a little bit on edge about, except Split Up. But yep, so I can't recommend this one, unfortunately, but if you have better ideas for green-white tokens that is not simply Heir Apparent, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.